was there. That's where we go. So,
Right.
yeah.
Let's call ourselves to order, please. Can we have a roll call taken?
Commissioner Cloutier.
Present.
Commissioner Katerina.
Present.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Tyler.
Present.
And Commissioner Gordon.
Present. For all those that, please join us in the pledge allegiance to the flag. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you, thank you. We have another full meeting here tonight. Always good to see a crowd. Thank you. We'll start off here. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any-
The only discussion I'll say is that good job to the note taker because they look very accurate and there was a lot going on. So thank you for the folks who take care of the minutes. They were accurate in my estimation. Thank you.
Any other comments? Those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes passed, unanimous. Informational reports and presentation. Is a report on recognition of Cumberland County as a storm-ready community by National Weather Service. James?
Yes, thank you. This evening, the National Weather Service, Donnie Dumont, is here to recognize the Emergency Management Agency for Cumberland County for a storm-ready organization. And I'd like to, if Donnie is here, is Michael here? They might be in the hallway.
Say they weren't here.
Maybe if we could flip-flop and we can take the second presentation and we'll hunt down the
Sure.
two.
The second presentation is a jail reentry program.
Yes, this evening we have Marissa Exchange, the jail reentry coordinator, and Brandon Irwin, the behavioral public health manager in the public health department, to give a presentation on their work around the reentry program down at the jail. I'll let them get ready and kick it off.
All right, good evening, commissioners. My name is Marissa Exchange, and I am the reentry coordinator at Cumberland County Jail. Thank you for the opportunity to share where we are, what we're seeing, and where we're heading with reentry services at CCJ. So to start, reentry is the process of helping individuals transition safely and successfully back into the community. It's not a singular service, it's a coordinated approach that connects housing, treatment, benefits, and long-term supports. Our program serves sentenced pretrial and pre-arraignment individuals all inside of Cumberland County Jail. Our work is available to anyone at the jail, with the priority for people with complex needs like mental health, substance abuse, or housing instability. From May through October of this year, we supported 417 unique individuals with 453 total engagements and 272 successful releases, including 52 direct bed-to-bed transitions into treatment or sober housing. A key part of our job and our work is not starting from scratch. It's preserving what many folks already had before incarceration. Things like a housing voucher, a recovery coach, main care, or a behavioral health provider. And this year, 91% of people released through our program left with at least one confirmed community support in place, whether it be case management, med management, or housing services. I'm skipping something here. Our whole goal is to stabilize what was already working and build new supports where they're needed to reduce disruption, returns to custody, and increase community stability. We have a strong collaborative team that includes reentry case managers, an MAT coordinator, and 3 DHHS intensive case managers who help with benefits and continuity of care. We also partner with PRCC, Portland Recovery Community, Common Space, Maine Pretrial, and housing providers across the region. 51% of the people we serve also participate in MAT, medication-assisted treatment, while in custody, which significantly improves stability post-release. One of our biggest accomplishments this year is officially joining the Homeless Management Information System and Coordinated Entry System. When someone's in jail, we can now directly refer them to the regional housing system, which dramatically improves outcomes and reduces delays in housing. Our daily work ranges from meeting with newly sentenced individuals to problem-solving housing plans to coordinating with DHHS, providers, probation, recovery staff, and our other community partners. Through consistent and meaningful progress, we're seeing people leave with more stability, more follow-through, and more continuity of care. We've also seen decreases in repeat arrests among individuals with preserved housing, benefits, and treatment connections. This directly improves public safety and reduces long-term systems costs. I also want to highlight how this work supports the county's core priorities: public safety, fiscal responsibility, and community trust. Successful reentry reduces reoffense, lowers jail bed usage, and reflects modern, compassionate correctional leadership. Our work follows national standards utilizing warm handoffs and collaborative case planning. In looking ahead to 2025 and 2026, we plan to strengthen post-release follow-up, expand housing and workforce partnerships, and deepen collaboration with county agencies to increase stability for individuals returning home. Continued county support will allow us to sustain the progress you'll see in these numbers, maintain essential resources like IDs and transportation, as well as expand both data and administrative support. Thank you very much for your time and continued support. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions?
I have 2 questions. Thank you for the information, it's really helpful, and thank you for the work that this represents. The one question I have is, of all the things you mentioned, which were a lot, which is great to have those kind of wraparound services, you didn't mention ESL, English as a second language, or translator services. How does that touch, do you need those services, or how does that work?
Well, the jail has like pocket translators for any sort of like translation services we need. Also, the Cumberland County community has a lot of different services for folks of all different backgrounds. So whether it's connecting somebody to, let me think of one of the examples, any of the places like the New Manor Association or anything like that, that's something that we're able to do, in a partnership we're able to.
That's not a barrier then to get the work done, is what you're saying?
No, not right now.
Great, awesome, that's great to hear. And then we're trying to break the cycle of reoffense, correct? And so do you have any data on that in terms of like, here's the program, this is all that we're doing, this is our goal to reduce that reoffense probability? Do you know, like, from 5 years ago or other different years, like, do you see an actual data change of less reoffense?
We've been working super diligently to figure out how to compile all of that data because it involves so many different systems. The data we've been able to pull just from this year, though, does significantly support that folks who have resources, housing, are likely to stay out longer.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully in the future we'll have like a little bit more aggregate data. We can really see the progress, because it looks like it's a wonderful program. It's important to have this wraparound service with so many different entities, and hopefully, it does, it meets the goals that we're trying to meet. So thank you for the work, and thank you for answering my questions.
I have a quick question. Very quickly, just to repeat, these services start the minute a person ends up in the jail, correct? You start planning for their exit as soon as they get in?
Yeah, so folks can be referred to us directly. They can put in a request themselves. External agencies can email me or call me and let me know, like, I'm working with so-and-so, and I'll connect with them. Families, our mental health department, our medical department, there's like several ways that we get referrals.
Is it a voluntary program?
It
Can
is.
So I hate to use the term inmate, but an inmate can say, I don't want to do it?
Yeah, and what I've seen in my experience so far is sometimes I'll meet with someone and they'll say, I'm all set. Release comes a little closer, and then I get a request and they're like, actually, like maybe I could use a jacket or a ride or a bus pass.
Yeah, okay. I wondered about that.
Very infrequently does somebody deny services and like hold true to that for their whole time there.
Interesting. Thank you.
James?
All set, thanks. Very nice presentation.
Thank you.
I've got a couple questions. You made mention those coordination in the program between you and DHHS. Could you explain that?
Yeah, DHHS has a contract with all the jails in the state of Maine where they're given so many ICMs or intensive case managers. Their main job is to work with folks who have been identified as having serious mental illness to make sure they get the connection to services outside of incarceration. Without having the rest of the reentry program, that leaves out a very huge population of people in incarceration getting those services that still qualify for them.
And then this is kind of probably a foolish question, but at what point is an individual released from the program totally?
So they're done with their work with us reentry-wise when they're released from the jail, but our whole goal is to establish warm handoffs, and we create release plans that are given to any community partners that somebody is identified as a support. So if you were working with a case manager, you would get a copy, that case manager would get a copy of your release plan with any of the appointments or services we had set up for you to make sure that the work doesn't stop the second they leave the door.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James, do we go back to the?
Yes, we are all set. I'd like to invite Michael Durkin up to the podium to kick off the next presentation.
Absolutely, thank you very much. This may be one of the faster presentations I have because I'm essentially going to kick it off to Donnie Dumont from the National Weather Service to present about storm ready certification.
Hello, good evening. My name's Donnie Dumont. I'm from the National Weather Service in Gray, Maine. I'm the warning coordination meteorologist. And the reason why I'm here today is really quickly just to celebrate significant achievement in community resilience and public safety. This is a special occasion to recognize the proactive leadership and tireless preparation of the Cumberland County Emergency Management Agency. So thank you for the ability to have me present this. Good work that's being done over here. So you're going to ask probably, what does storm ready actually mean? And pretty much it's not a simple thing to get. So the National Weather Service Storm Ready program is a national effort to help communities prepare for and respond to severe weather. Ensures that counties and municipalities within those counties have a comprehensive plan and a system to protect life and property. To earn this recognition, the Cumberland County EMA had to meet a rigorous set of criteria. They have demonstrated that they have, I'm going to list them real quick, they have a 24-hour warning point and a modern effective emergency operations center. They have multiple redundant ways to both receive and disseminate severe weather warnings from the National Weather Service. They have a system for monitoring local weather and river conditions, and this includes the impacts that they cause to your local community. They also have a robust public outreach and hazardous weather education program. And finally, they have a formal hazardous weather plan that is practiced and exercised. So pretty much in short, the storm ready means that Cumberland County has invested the time, effort, and resources to be a safer and a more resilient place to live. So you ask, why is this important? Did you know that America is actually one of the most severe weather-prone countries on the planet? We have approximately 90% of all presidential disasters are weather-related. So that's 97% have to do with weather. So if there's an emergency, most likely it's going to be due to weather. There have been 63 declared weather disasters in Maine since 1980, and we knew the one that just happened back in January 2024, so it's pretty recent. So even though we recognize Cumberland County as being storm ready today as a new achievement, the reality is that us and Cumberland County EMA have been a long history of strong partnership over the years. We know we can't stop the next storm from actually occurring, whether it's a blizzard, a hurricane, a flood, or a thunderstorm. But we can control how we prepare for the storm and how we can actually mitigate the impacts. That's the most important part, is mitigating the impacts. So the team of Cumberland County EMA, led by Director Michael Durkin, he understands these threats better than anyone. They are a model partner for our office. And just so you know, our office includes all of New Hampshire and all of Western Maine. We have 2.4 million people, and they're one of the best county EMs we have. Like I said, they don't just wait for the weather to happen. They're on the phone with our forecasters in advance. They attend every single storm conference call that we actually have. They forward all of our latest messages down to the local level, and they make sure that their partners are ready. So it's from government, every level, right down to the local municipality. This storm ready recognition isn't the end process either. It's just a symbol, like I said, of an ongoing commitment to the point that we will recertify this every 4 years moving forward. It signifies that Cumberland County has a system in place to save lives and protect property when seconds count. So on behalf of the National Weather Service and the entire Weather Right Nation initiative, it is my honor to congratulate you, Cumberland County. So take a picture and then I will be out of here.
I did for you.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Comments?
Want to say anything?
Comments?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, isn't it?
And the only thing I'll add is it's definitely not an award for me. I'm just the one who gets to stand up here. But it's really an award for our staff and the entire, all county departments, because they're all reflected in that operations plan that Donnie kind of scrutinizes. So it's not a me thing at all. I just get the pleasure of standing here.
How long did it take you to put the plan together?
Probably a process of 6 months, give or take. You know, taking, our original plan was from 2019, and so it was overdue to be updated anyway, and there's been a lot of changes that have happened between now and 2019, so it was a bigger change than usual. So you all signed it, so. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. And it covers,
Public comment.
Says comments.
oh, excuse me, that's right, public comments. Commission policy is that there are limits of 3 minutes per speaker. Public comment period is for items that are not on the agenda. And there's a limit totaling 1 hour for this topic. And I comment again is that it is for items that are not on the agenda. Is there anybody that wishes to speak at public comment time?
Hello, hi Commissioners. My name is Shelby Layton. I'm a resident of South Portland. I'm here, as always, to ask you to end the contract with ICE. And I will continue to be here until you do end the contract with ICE. I want to start by thanking you all for the care and time that you've put into this issue. We see it, and especially Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Caterina, Commissioner Cloutier, Commissioner Gordon, I know that you all have been having a lot of conversations with community members, and we really appreciate it. But I also want to emphasize that this issue is urgent. There are 61 people right now who are being detained at the Cumberland County Jail for ICE. And the sooner we vote to end this contract, the sooner we can start planning for how we're going to get those people released and how we're going to support those people. And so I ask you not to put off this decision and to address it as soon as you can so that we can approach this with care and we can figure out a solution going forward that is best for our community and ends our complicity in ICE's violations. According to data provided by the Sheriff's Office, 601 people were detained for ICE at Cumberland County Jail by June 2025, and We don't have the more recent data, but we hope to get it soon. That would put the jail on pace for more than 1,000% increase from previous years. That is a dramatic expansion, and it did not happen by accident. It happened because ICE is trying to double its national detention capacity by 2026, and we are becoming a key part of that strategy by ICE. We are among one of the largest detention facilities in northern New England, and that change has occurred without our consent as community members. Roughly 60%, again, according to data from June, or data from the sheriff, of those detained here are not from Maine, but they're transferred here from other states as part of an intentional dynamic detention system that deliberately shuffles people to evade oversight and sever access to family and legal aid. For them, this contract does not provide protection. And even for Mainers, the contract offers no real safeguard. Most people arrested by ICE or Border Patrol here in Maine are not getting sent to Cumberland County Jail. They're being immediately sent out of state, often to jails hundreds of miles away, making it harder for them to reach lawyers or community support. This is all part of the same system. And those who do remain here face slim chances. Fewer than 1 in 3 detainees in Massachusetts Immigration Court are granted bond, and even fewer receive permanent relief. Despite
30 seconds.
Okay, despite the hard work of immigration attorneys, there's just simply not enough capacity to extend adequate representation to those detainees. So I ask you to end the contract with ICE.
I remind the audience that really there's no applauding.
Good evening. My name is Reverend Allison Smith, and I live in Harpswell, Maine. And I've served Congregational United Church of Christ churches in 6 different communities across Maine. And I'm here to urge you to end the contract with ICE. There's a family in my wider community. ICE agents came to the Walmart, which is 7 miles from my house, and arrested him. Immediately, he was sent to Alabama, and now he is in prison in West Africa. His wife and 9-year-old son actually do not know if they will ever see him again. How is this mother supposed to pay rent working as a single parent at Walmart? This beautiful family has been ripped apart. And this is not who we are as Cumberland County. And you have the power to say no. To stand up for our neighbors, to stand for the rule of law and equal protection under the law, and to stand against systemic and racist cruelty. I urge you to work with our state leaders who are here, who have offered to help, and to remember that budgets are moral documents. If you do nothing, the jail is on pace to hold a 1,300% increase from previous years. And I can't even begin to imagine what will happen in 26 and 27 and 28. It's happening on your watch because we have this contract with ICE. And I know you are concerned. I know you have been wrestling, and I'm so grateful for that wrestling and for that reflection and thinking. But we are here as faith leaders and as community to ask you to end this contract and to support you as you do so. As you know, ending the contract will not abolish ICE, but it will make a difference for our families, for our community, for our neighbors. It will prevent ICE from importing people from other states into our jail. And it will reduce the numbers and costs to the jail. And most of all, it will give our community hope. And that is what we need. Sometimes as leaders, we have to do what is right, even when the details and the outcome are unknown. It's called taking a leap of faith. It's called courage over complicity. And as many faith traditions would agree, it's called loving one's neighbor as oneself. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak shortly with you this evening. My
me.
name is,
Name and
yes,
address.
thank you, Marvin Ellison. I'm a Presbyterian minister. For nearly 40 years, I taught Christian
From where?
ethics
From where?
at Bangor Theological Seminary. I now reside in Portland. Thank you. I'm here to encourage the commission to end the county's connection with ICE. While I agree that our country has an immigration problem, the best way forward is not to round up our friends, neighbors, and co-workers and put them in detention centers, but rather to extend to them hospitality, safety, and support as they build new lives for themselves and their families and contribute to the common good. As a nation of immigrants, we're made stronger by our diversity and by our shared willingness to seek a more perfect union together. The Bible reminds us that once we too were strangers and dependent on the kindness of others for our very survival. Today we need more kindness, not more incarceration. Blessed are the merciful, those who show mercy. Thank you for taking these words to heart.
Hi, my name is Issa Muldoon. I'm a resident of Portland, Maine, and tonight I'll be reading on behalf of Morgan Hind. These are Morgan's words. My name is Morgan Hind. I am a Knox County Commissioner, and I am the director of Bingham Program, a health-focused philanthropy that makes grants and does health policy work in Maine. Just today, I learned that one of Bingham's top key nonprofit dental partners recently had an employee removed from work by ICE, and they were taken to Massachusetts. Fortunately, that person is back home after working with ILAP, but they still don't have permission to go back to work. One of the most significant problems in the oral health field is the lack of qualified workforce, and removals like these have made a significant impact on the provider's ability to see as many patients as possible, particularly those who are uninsured or who are Maine Care members. ICE activity in Maine is making our already shaky healthcare system even more unstable. We all suffer on so many levels when they take members out of the community. As a county commissioner, I am keenly aware of the challenges that the Cumberland County Commissioners face. All counties in Maine are struggling to run our jails and to ensure that counties are adequately funded to provide necessary services to our communities. That said, we are in an unprecedented time in our nation's history, and elected officials are going to have to make painful decisions if we want to protect democracy for the generations that come after us. I'll admit that I don't know all of the details of Cumberland County's budget challenges. But in Knox County, we have pursued partnerships with other counties to ensure sustainability for our jail. In the past, we accepted long-term inmates from other counties, and we were paid a daily rate for those inmates. That helped our bottom line. If they're not already, Cumberland could partner with other counties in the state to try to make up for the loss of some of the funds they would experience by ending their contract with ICE. All this to say, there are other options. Elected officials, myself included, need to think more creatively about how we respond to these challenges. The status quo is not an option. We have to do everything in our power to limit the impact of ICE in our state and in our country. Partnering with ICE in any way beyond what is required by state and federal law should be off the table completely. If the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners votes to end this contract, they will be setting an example for all of the other 15 counties in the state. As our most populous county, their decisions carry weight and influence the decisions made by other county commissioners. I hope when they next take this question up that they find the courage to end their relationship with ICE and build some positive momentum in our state. Thank you for your time. Good night.
Hi, my name is Emily Mitamura and I live in Brunswick. I'm a professor at Bowdoin and I'm your constituent, Commissioner Gordon. I'm asking you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE, and I'll cede the rest of my time to the many other people who feel the same. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kate DiMartino. I'm a Brunswick resident. I'm also a Bowdoin professor, and I'm here to ask you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE, and I'll cede the rest of my time to the other folks.
Good evening. My name is Erica Watkins. I live in Windham, and I'm asking you to end Cumberland County's jail's contract with ICE.
I'm Jessie Muldoon. I'm a Portland Public School teacher and resident of Portland, and I'm here to ask you to end your contract with ICE.
I'm Christine Boudreau. I'm a resident of Raymond, and I teach at Portland Public Schools. Asking you to please end the contract with ICE. Don't participate in this cruel practice anymore. Thank you.
I'm Dwight Thorne. I'm a retired teacher. I live in South Portland. I lived in Maine for 71 years. I'm ashamed and embarrassed by this county's complicitness in what's going on with ICE, and I urge you to end the contract.
Hola a todos. Me llamo Elizabeth Davenport. Yo vivo en Saco. Trabajo en las escuelas de Portland y le estoy pidiendo, por favor, deja tu contrato con estas personas que no quiere a mi gente.
Good evening, my name is Ann Bischoff. I live in Freeport. I teach for Portland Public Schools, and I urge you to end your cooperation with ICE.
Good evening, my name is Caroline Clavel, and I'm a teacher in Portland Public Schools, and I'm here to urge you to end your contract with ICE. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shoshana Hose. I live in Portland, and I'm also a teacher in the Portland Public Schools, and urge you to end the contract with ICE.
Good evening, my name is Judy DiNucci. I'm a resident of Portland. I work for public schools, and I am hoping that you have the courage to end the contract with ICE and honor the pledge of liberty and justice for all.
Hello, my name is Ann Law Liberty. I live safely and comfortably in Westbrook, and although I might not fit the current profile, I am the granddaughter of immigrants. So this is an issue dear to my heart, and I urge you to end the contract with ICE.
Good evening, my name is Genevieve Breitbach. I live in Portland, Maine, and I'm an educator in Freeport. And I urge you to end your contract with ICE and the trauma that you're causing our children and our families and our community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sue Sage. I live in Westbrook, Maine. I'm a retired teacher. I'm also the grandchild of Sicilian immigrants who were not warmly welcomed when they arrived 100 years ago. I spent my career respecting the officer-friendly program where we taught students to to trust and respect law enforcement. And I fear that what we're doing now is teaching people, our young people, and showing how we cannot count on law enforcement to support us. I ask you to please consider not having our police departments cooperate with illegal detention of our people. Thank you.
My name is Russell Warren. I live here in Portland, and I'm a teacher in Portland Public Schools, and I urge you to end the contract with ICE.
Hi, my name's Lori Austell. I live in Portland, and I urge you to end the contract with ICE. I also would like you to imagine if you had family members who were people of color, and regardless of whether they're detained or not, what their lives are like simply from the fear instilled. I have a brother who's a person of color who has a granddaughter, and what her life is like now. People are afraid to go out of their houses because of the current situation, and I just ask you to reach into your hearts and think about what the conscious, correct or right or humane decision is here. Thank you.
My name is Leslie McVeigh. I'm from Falmouth, and I'm asking you to please end the contract with ICE. My daughter lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, and what is happening there right now as we sit here for Stan, we don't want to have happen here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Bree Bowman. I live in South Portland, Maine. And it feels important to talk to you tonight because I'm really scared about what's happening in our country. I think it feels hard to have power in this moment, and I think there is a lot of power around the table to be on record during this very chilling time, doing something right. So I am here to urge you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE, and hopefully we can reflect on this period in the future as a time when we did something right together. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Linda Webb. I'm a retired DHHS social worker, kindergarten teacher, lifelong Mainer, resident of Gorham, Maine, where I'm a member of the UCC Church, which offers transitional housing to immigrants who are waiting to find permanent housing. I'm urging you to not continue your contract with ICE, which I think is an immoral group that is taking illegal actions and ruining people's lives, sending them off to West Africa, apparently. We have someone through Greater Portland Family Promise, a wonderful man who has gotten sent off to Massachusetts after being picked up by ICE, which has devastated his family, not to mention him, I'm sure. This just is not right, and we need to stop. And you're our elected representatives, so we're counting on you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Kathy Walter. I too am a resident of Gorham for a long time. And I would like to remind you all that prison without due process is a concentration camp, and we do not want Maine to go down in history supporting concentration camps. Thank you. Stop your contract with ICE.
Hi there, my name is Kate McLaughlin. I live right here in Portland. The mission of ICE and their entire approach is deeply contrary to my values, and so I respectfully request that you end your contract. And thank you for your work for the county.
Hello, thank you for having us speak tonight. I appreciate that. My name is Peggy Marchand. I live in Gorham, Maine, and I'm thinking about contracts. My father taught me a long time ago, never sign a contract unless you know it's with I just lost the word. Unless you know the person who you're signing has a good reputation, so a reputable person. Don't sign with just anybody. I also have been thinking about contracts because I have taught social studies, I have taught civil rights, and I have taught immigrants about the Constitution. The Constitution is, in fact, our contract. It's our contract that says we the people know and follow these rules, and if we follow these rules, we have certainly the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If we are not careful and we contract with people who are not reputable, we have things with people coming into our community with masks, guns, zip ties, and attacking people. I worry about the immigrants I have taught. And I gave them my word that this document that says we are the people was their recipe for success in the United States if they followed it. And now some of my students who are now adults can't go out because it isn't safe for them because their skin is different from mine. So I'm really, really worried, and I hope you think before you sign another contract with ICE that you remember what it means and that all of us in this room are counting on you to make sure we don't do something that we will long regret. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Amanda Savino, and I live in Gorham, and I'm asking you to end Cumberland County's contract with ICE.
Hi, I'm Margaret Albright. I live in Freeport, Maine. I'm a teacher, and I think of the couple of stories we've heard tonight, plus all the other stories that happen in Maine. And I think of the videos that you see all over the place now on social media of the horrendous, inhumane, immoral actions of ICE. And there's just, I cannot see any reason to say, yep, we want to contract with them. And I really hope that you will indeed stop the contract with ICE. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Linda Rogoff. I am a resident of Portland and a former Portland teacher, an ESL teacher, so I had some children who might have been swept up in a web and gone home and not find their parents there. So I feel very strongly that we should end the contract with ICE.
Hi, my name is Wendy Chapkus. I've taught at the University of Southern Maine for 30 years. I live in the Portland Parkside neighborhood, and on behalf of our students and their families and my neighbors who are living in deep fear, I beg you to end the contract with ICE. Thank you.
My name is Mariella Hogame, she, her, hers. I think you're familiar with my face by now, but I'm here again. Honestly, didn't think I could get here today because another one of my kids got taken, and it's probably going to get deported any time now. Every single week, every single day. They've taken my athletes, they've taken my students, and the least I can do is show up and beg. I'm not even asking, I'm begging you to please do the right thing and stop the contract. They're taking so many kids now. It's not just their parents, it's not just their grandparents or their aunts and uncles, it's the kids over and over again. So please do the right thing and stop, and I'll keep coming until you guys do.
Hi, my name is Virginia Doss. I'm from Portland, Maine, and I'm also asking you to end the contract with ICE because their practices are inhumane and unconstitutional. I don't know why we would ever be a part of anything that has both of those things attached to it. So I'm also begging you to do the humane and the constitutional thing and end this contract.
Hi, my name is Christine Bozella. I'm from Gray, and I'm asking you to stop the contract with ICE. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about my position on this, I urge Tom Tyler to share some of our email exchanges with you all. Thank you.
My name is Christopher Smick. I'm a resident of Scarborough. I'm a retired teacher. I'm here to ask you to end the contract with ICE. I am a longtime supporter of law enforcement, but ICE is not law enforcement. ICE is lawless enforcement. No respectable law enforcement officer behaves the way they do. You know all that. So please, let's just do our part and end that contract. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sarah Harbour, and I live right over in this community, North Deering. I'm a clinical social worker, and I'm asking you to end the contract with ICE. I can't see a lot of my clients because they're too afraid to come in and meet with me. So I can see the ripple effects of trauma every single day, and that's not what I want for our communities. This affects us all. I'm urging you to do the right thing. Thank you.
My name is Ellie, and I'm from Gorham. I'm here because I want to urge you to end this contract. And I want to ask you a question. What are your values? What do you value? What kind of a world do you want to create? And how can you choose in a way that you'll be proud of when you are on your deathbed?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jake Fahey. I live in South Portland. I'm an interfaith chaplain. I work for First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church in Portland. I'm also on the board of the Maine Council of Churches. And I'm here to urge you to please end the contract that Cumberland County Jail has with ICE. Please find it in your heart to do so. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jordan Singh. I live in Portland. I'm asking you to end the Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE, and I also would like to take a moment to thank Commissioner Smith and Katerina for their very last vote. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Reverend Christine Dyke. I'm a resident of Gorham, and I'm also the minister of First Parish Church, which is a UCC church in Gorham, where we have transitional housing for asylum seekers. We've had 25 families in the last 2 years, and we also host the ELL classes, the language classes, for the town of Gorham. We've watched these families transition to become wonderful members of the greater Portland area, and we have had to implement procedures for both my congregation and our residents regarding sudden and illegal incarceration, which has caused fear and trauma. Please allow them to seek safety in this country without the fear of random and illegal incarceration. I ask you to end the contract with ICE.
Just a comment, we've got about 5 more minutes.
My name's Megan, and I live in the West End in Portland, and I'm asking you to please end Cumberland County's jail contract with ICE. You see the change in the past, even like 6 months in my neighborhood, like less kids playing. It's completely changed the whole dynamic around my own neighborhood for them.
My name is Victoria Tchaikovsky. I live in Westbrook. I was living in Haiti. I got married and I had a baby in Haiti. My daughter now has forever born in Haiti on her passport. She's a citizen. Her father came here. He is now a citizen. I am worried every single day that my family is going to be picked up illegally, unlawfully detained, sent out of state. I ask you, with all of the stories that we just heard, please let those stories enter your heart. These people are illegally detained, and we are taking blood money to house them with our money. This is our money that we paid. I'm a taxpayer, and so are you. I don't want my tax money to be blood money. Please end this contract.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm a resident of Portland. I heard the 5 minutes left of this comment, and I would like to say that there's this line of us and many, many more in the lobby.
I've got to back that up. I've been told that my watch is not correct. So we've got probably another 25 minutes.
Okay.
We started at 5:48.
I would say that probably in that time there will still be people who are out in the lobby who will not have a chance to give comments. So just acknowledging that there's this line, there's many more in the lobby that are really truly asking you all to end the contract with ICE. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julia. I live in Biddeford, but I work all over Greater Portland and beyond as a community interpreter. And so I am here to urge you to end the cooperation with the ICE crackdowns, which are not making us safe. They're escalating violence and brutality and violating legal due process rights, violating what I deeply believe is the God-given human dignity of human beings. And so I want to just say, please end cooperation with brutality.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and I live in Portland, and I'm asking you to end the contract with ICE because it is immoral, and I don't want to be associated with it. Thank you.
My name is Lila. I live in Deering in Portland, and
I honestly think it's embarrassing that all these people have to be here again in order for you all to hear the message that the people of Cumberland County don't want to collaborate with ICE. I know some of you are still making up your minds, and if you don't make them up quick, I hope that you have really enjoyed your time as county commissioners, because I think it's pretty clear that the people of Cumberland County have lost faith in your ability and your judgment. And I personally look forward to working on the election campaigns of the people who will take your office in your next election.
Hi, I'm Mass Woodbury. I live in Westbrook. I'm asking you to end the Cumberland County contract with ICE, and also any cooperation between any local official and ICE.
Hi, my name is Kelly Merrill. I'm the co-chair of the Maine Green Independent Party, and I host a political podcast and political education, urging you to end the contract with ICE and do everything in your power to ensure that our communities are not terrorized. I'm the mother of a 23-year-old child who just graduated summa cum laude from UMaine. I wonder when he leaves the house if his papers are in order. Is he speeding? Is his skin too brown? Is his name too foreign sounding? It's your job to make sure that I, as a mother, am not terrified, and that he's not in danger, and that our communities are safe. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dan Line. I'm an attorney. And I want to say, and I'm sure each of you appreciates, that public contracts are different than general contracts. Public contracts are intended to serve a purpose that serves the common weal of the people of the county. Can any of us say that the ICE contract serves the common weal of this county? If the answer is it gives us money, is that a moral response? Is that the type of response that serves the common weal? I would suggest to you and each of you that a P&L, that a balance sheet, should not be driving this discussion. We have to look to the larger purpose. Is this serving each of us in our larger position in this county? And the answer is, it does not.
Good evening. My name is Ella Tabaski. I live in Brunswick. I am a nonprofit worker and a union member. I wrote an op-ed in the Press Herald last month, and as I wrote there, my opposition to this contract is rooted in both my Jewish identity and the moral responsibility I feel to resist cruelty and dehumanization in all forms. As I've shared with you all before, I'm the daughter of a Holocaust educator and was taught the horrors of Nazi Germany and how that did not happen overnight. I learned what happened when ordinary people in institutions such as yours didn't act. You have an opportunity to take a clear moral stand. You can end our county's participation in a system that separates families and instills fear in our immigrant neighbors, and I urge you to vote to end the contract. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jay Gruber, and I live in the West End in Portland. I'm asking that you end the contract with Cumberland County Jail with ICE. This contract is part of a greater immigration strategy that is not making our community safer. We're seeing so many people's Fourth Amendment rights being violated in the process, and it's shameful that our local justice system has any part of it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is T. Lane. I'm a resident of Portland, Maine. I am the great-granddaughter of a World War II veteran. My great-grandfather did D+3 on Omaha Beach, and I'll be damned if I didn't come here and make public comment today. Everything that ICE is doing illegally, and they are doing everything illegally, is sowing distrust to everyone who, isn't already disenfranchised. But that distrust will touch everything. That distrust goes down to a National Guard member walking down the street. Is this person coming for me? Down to the very seat that you sit in here today. Can we trust you to fulfill what our community needs? Or can we not? I would highly encourage you to end and not renew any contract with ICE. It is shameful. It is disgusting. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you for letting us all comment. My name is Larry Williams. I've been living in Maine for 3 years. For 30 years, I worked for the federal government. I was an attorney first with the Department of Justice and later worked for the Internal Revenue Service. One of my jobs was to ensure that all of our agents and revenue officers follow the law to the letter, protecting people's constitutional rights and also the rights that Congress had given them in the tax laws. What I've been seeing in the news, particularly, and I'm sure you've seen it too, you have neighbors who talk about it, ICE is not following the law. I don't know where the attorneys are, they probably were fired. But I urge you to end this contract, because what you're doing is you're allowing ICE to continue these illegal seizures, detaining citizens that takes weeks, if not sometimes months, for them to be released. And by allowing them to be housed at the jail, you are facilitating this unlawful action. So I ask you to end the contract with ICE. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Emma Lombardo. I'm a resident of Portland. I am also employed by Equality Housing Coalition. We're a housing nonprofit based in Portland. And I'm here not only representing my community, and because I believe that people should live not in fear, and should also not just feel safe, but should thrive. And this is the complete opposite of that. And so I'm also here on behalf of the clients that we represent and we work for. And I also would ask you to recognize that the people that you are today in this room all represent a very similar demographic in age and race. I assume probably similarly in socioeconomic status. And I would also ask you to look at all the people that are coming up here to speak today, and all that they represent is a much broader range of race, of age. And this is the community speaking out for what they want. And I hope that you listen. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Catherine Horwitz. I work at the UMaine Cooperative Extension here in Cumberland County. I urge you to end the contract with ICE at the Cumberland County Jail because I believe that every member of our community in this county should feel safe going to work, dropping their kids off at school, walking on the street, and that no one in our community should feel worried that they are going to be taken away from their families and from their community, and that we should be treating our community members with the utmost respect, and that welcoming them into our community instead of accepting this contract with ICE. And yeah.
Hello, my name is Anna Knutson. I bet you can guess what I'm going to say. I would like you to end the contract between Cumberland County Jail and ICE. Every month that you delay this decision, families are getting ripped apart. And I don't know if you guys truly understand that, but that is the reality. And also, ICE is proving across the country that they are not listening to local officials. So I would urge you to use your authority while you still have it. We are living in dangerous times. Thank you for your time.
My name is Katie Irwin. I'm a Deering resident. I want to thank the commissioners who have voted to cancel the contract with ICE. And I understand that there are commissioners that have concerns about legal technicalities of canceling the contract. And I would like to urge those folks to consider the bigger picture of allowing ICE to continue and expand their operations in Maine by letting this contract continue. And consider and have conversations with folks about what canceling the contract would mean. You all have power in this situation, and by not canceling it, you are not upholding the integrity of your power within the community that you're existing in. So thank you for those that have voted to cancel the contract, and I would really urge those that haven't to consider that and have conversations about what canceling the contract would do to the community.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is John Cody. I'm a resident of Farmingdale, and I also work out of Boston, Logan, so I spend quite a bit of time down in Chelsea, Mass. Very heavily Latino community. And I just like to kind of challenge the rationale a little bit of, this being a humane way of housing people locally. Because, my understanding of what's been happening down there quite a bit is ICE is rounding up people, and they don't have a place to put them there, so they were bringing them to their Burlington, Massachusetts offices and putting them there for days and weeks on end in offices, using bathrooms not appropriate, for days on end, and vending machines and such. And taking breadwinners out of their homes, these are people who work very hard keeping the transportation system running for all of us. And I can tell you it's felt very acutely in that community. And the thought of bringing them up here and just housing them in our facilities seems like a legacy that we don't want to leave behind. And I know this, maybe Texas and Florida or wherever, they're happy to build jails and housing these people and taking federal money. But I don't think that's the legacy that you want to leave. So think about that. How many of our own are we really housing in our county jails? And how much are we just enabling the federal government to bring people, from sanctuary states, we'll say. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sheena Immel. I'm a resident of South Portland. And I urge you to end the contract with ICE. Every day that goes by is a day that ICE is destroying countless more families. I know it may be very easy to sit in this quiet room and have a calm discussion about this, but I urge you to go watch the footage of what is actually happening to human beings on the streets. Because it is not anything that is worthy of calm discussion. This is an outrage everywhere that it is happening. No amount of money justifies this inhumanity and this cruelty to human beings. And I ask you if you would vote any differently if ICE agents were wearing swastikas on their chests. Because we may not want to think that that is what is going on here. This is no different. I really urge you to think about that when you make your vote. Thank you.
My name is Amelia Kelleher, and I'm a Portland resident. I want to echo what a friend of mine said earlier and thank those of you who have voted to end this contract. I work with people who are currently and formerly incarcerated, specifically to improve the quality of nutrition in prisons and jails, and so I've been to Maine State prisons. And something that struck me when I was at one of the last meetings was when the sheriff said, ICE detainees are being treated just as well as everyone else. People are not treated well in these facilities. People do not receive good food. And there's a map that you can get when you leave that shows all the different local facilities in the country. And I think I would really like to invite all of you to see this as an opportunity for how we can serve as a model for how we stop collaborating with ICE. And I understand this friend Katie Irwin was saying earlier that there are some nuances, there's some concerns that you're trying to figure out with the contract and how that works legally. But let's think creatively and really show, other states and localities that there's a way that we can really do better and protect our neighbors. Thank you.
My name is Denise Schwartz and I live in Scarborough. I'm retired. My grandparents were immigrants. I'm French Canadian. My father was a police captain in Lewiston. I was born in Lewiston. My father was not a very liberal guy. He was pretty conservative. But I think of him a lot these days. I wish he were here, and maybe I don't wish he was here, because I don't think he'd like what's going on. He wouldn't like this. And so I urge you to please end the contract with ICE, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Karen Silverman from South Portland, and I'm another person who's urging you to end the contract. I'm sure there's nothing new I can say from all of the people who have spoken. I know that my maternal grandparents escaped from Ukraine. They were immigrants, and so this really tugs at my heart. But basically, it all boils down to what ICE is doing is inhumane, cruel, and un-American. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lenore. I am a resident of Portland, and I'm here to ask you to vote to end the contract today. And thank you to those who have voted to end the contract. I'm a clinical social worker. I sit with immigrants every day, witnessing and listening to their stories of trauma, of political persecution, of violence, and unspeakable acts. They came here for safety, and now the conditions of their trauma are being replicated because of ICE and because of our complicity, because we are complicit in those actions. We have to say no today. We can be creative, we can end the contract, and we can continue to work at the municipal, county, and state level to find additional solutions to support our community. Thank you.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Mary Wallace. I live in Portland. I am an educator for Portland Public Schools, and I urge you to cancel the contract with ICE.
Hi, my name is Danielle Arroyo. I live in South Portland. I work for the Maine Coast Heritage Trust. More importantly, I worked for Skillins for 10 years as this community's florist, and I loved it. I got to see people through weddings and deaths and funerals and proms, and I love this community deeply. And what you might not be able to tell because I am white passing is I'm Puerto Rican. My dad is a brown person, and it feels like a no-brainer at how divisive and harmful ICE is. And I love this community, and I would love to see the people who have privilege and power make good choices to support all of your community. Thank you.
My name is Emily Manter. I live in Portland, and I'm asking you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE. It's possible and it's urgent, and I appreciate those that have voted to do so, and I hope that you will do that in the future. Thank you.
My name is Kimberly Henry. I live in Portland. I'm an educator in Falmouth Public Schools, and I am asking you to end the contract with ICE. I'd actually like to direct our attention back to the humanity of the people who are being detained. And as an educator, as a family member, and I imagine you are all family members and parents to young people, remember that the crimes that are being committed are not felony offenses. We are not bringing these people here for hurting their communities. We are bringing these people here for seeking help. And we have all done something that I believe is criminally much worse than crossing a border without paperwork. If you have children, if they are athletes, if they are among friends in school, I can guarantee you that before they turn 21, they will have a sip of alcohol. And if it was up to this system, if they were in this position, they could be sent to this prison for a crime far less bad than crossing a border without papers. I want you to consider what we are putting people in prison for, and consider the lives that we are putting on hold for crimes that do not even meet a felony charge. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Becca. I live in Portland. Thank you to those who have already voted to end the contract with ICE, and I'm here to demand and ask that the rest of you do the same and follow suit. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Willow and I live in Portland. I'm asking you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE. The longer we allow this to go on, the sooner American-born citizens like me and you will be next on the chopping block. So now is the time for decisive action, not humming and hawing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is JC. I'm a constituent of Commissioner Cloutier's. I'm a born and raised Mainer, and I'm calling on you to have a sense of morality in this moment and to vote to end the contract with ICE. There is absolutely no way that this can continue. Splitting families, removing people from schools is despicable. Thank you.
My name is Myra Clark. I live in Portland, and I'm here to urge you all to end the contract between ICE and the Cumberland County Jail. I'm also here to thank those of you who have already done so.
My name is Kat Cunningham, and I live in Portland, Maine. And I'm asking you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE, and to remind you that this is a moral issue. It is not financial. It is about our neighbors. So please think about the people around you and what you would do if something happened to them as well, because it's about human beings.
Good evening. My name is Gwendolyn Forrest. I'm a resident of Portland, and as the great-granddaughter of Irish immigrants and Welsh immigrants, I urge you to end the contract and to be able to be part of building a future in Maine for all of us, and not having an entity like ICE on our streets bringing the kind of cruelty that they're bringing day after day. Thank you for your deep consideration on this. I urge you to have moral clarity here.
Hello, my name is Carol Ford, and I live in Falmouth. And I'm asking you to end Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE. Basically, I think we all know this. ICE has no relation whatsoever, in my opinion, to any legitimate law enforcement agency. I think we have really good law enforcement agencies here, at least we're in the world. They are the Gestapo. They just are. They operate the exact same way. They're completely lawless. They are lawless thugs. They are the private enforcement arm for the president. Everything about this is completely antithetical to our democracy and our freedom. And I think they are taking over. They're taking over an institution that's important. They're taking over our law enforcement facilities, and in doing that, they're taking over law enforcement personnel and agents. And then just read the history. This is exactly what, Hitler wasn't the only one, but this is what the worst dictators in the world have done. These are those tactics. And so I just think there's no excuse for us to be, and I say us, to be working with them at all. Because I think if they put swastikas on, I don't know, I would hope that everybody would just be like, oh, okay, no, we can't. But I don't see the difference. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Jack Moorbacher. I'm an educator in Biddeford, and I'm urging you to end the Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE. This is a larger historical moment that I think is going to be looked back on as a moral disaster. We as a community have an opportunity right now to collaborate with that, or to not directly collaborate with that. And I would hope that if you thought deeply about it, you would not want to participate in this historical moment. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sophia Michael. I live in Biddeford, and I'm asking you to end the Cumberland County Jail's contract with ICE. I'm coming from Biddeford because I think it's important for all of our counties to set an example for the larger state, for the larger country, that we should not be taking people off the street, and we should not be having masked armed people just pulling people away. I think giving space in our county and our state to do that just sets a really, really bad example for the kinds of people we want to be here in this state. I would appreciate, I feel like a lot of you are looking away. I think this is important to look in the eye and see what it is. So, thank you.
Got 3 more minutes.
My name is Cece Robinson. I'm a teacher at Casco Bay High School. Thank you, commissioners, for being here. I listened carefully to your meeting last month. I was really inspired, Commissioner Smith, by the way you framed things. Commissioner Katarina, thank you for your brave vote. I have a request for all of the commissioners. I did notice people referring to the crime of crossing the border. It isn't. Please push back if that misinformation is disseminated in the part where we're not talking anymore. It's a civil violation. It's one my own grandfather committed. Nobody's come for me. He jumped ship. He was a merchant marine from Liverpool, England. And I think we know what the differences there are. I'm a teacher who I'm definitely going to watch these videos on YouTube of your meetings until something happens, because when ICE tells school administrators outside Talbot, we're not going to identify ourselves. I'm not going to tell you what a law enforcement agency we're from. That's not okay. My students trust me, and they trust me to keep them safe. The path to limiting ICE's ability to do stuff like this isn't growing, it's shrinking. Now is the time. Thank you for acting. And Commissioner Cloutier, thanks for your email earlier today.
Hi, my name is Grace Corman. I live in Portland, Maine, and I am the product of
Last person.
generations of immigrants. I worry for my family and my friends and my neighbors, and I urge you to end the contracts.
So that ends the comment period. And at this point, I'll entertain a recess for about 10 minutes.
How many people are on the line, Steve?
About 8, 9.
7. Okay. So there's a recess for 10 minutes.
Thank you.
10 minutes, they'll be done.
Thank you. Shades.
There's no more public comment period. We have consent agenda. I need a motion for a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. These are items 25-116 through 25-120.
Point of order, Chair. I would like to withdraw item number 25-120. That is the appointment of City Councilor Kate Sykes to the 2025-26 County Finance Committee for a 3-year term. May I have a motion for withdrawal? That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I'm making this motion to withdraw because I understand, found out today that this potentially is not in alignment with our charter for the county. So since it's not in line with the charter, I don't want to do anything that's not correct, so I'm withdrawing.
Thank you.
May I address that?
Sure.
The way the charter was written, and no blame attaches to one or more of the authors who are sitting at this table, there's a provision that says that no more than 2 members of our finance committee can be from the same municipality except for under extraordinary circumstances. And as a result, there is a precinct in Portland which is attached to South Portland and Westbrook that would never be eligible to be the district representative on our finance committee. And next time we rewrite the charter, it probably would be a good idea to do something about that. But it's pretty plain that it's not allowed. Portland already has 2 representatives, and Councilor Sykes would have been a 3rd, representing not the city of Portland, but representing the Commission District 4. The Portland representatives, other than that precinct, are part of District 5, which is my district. Commissioner Smith is from District 4. So,
any other comments on the amendment?
I guess I just want to say that the Finance Committee is in good shape in terms of the number of people, the folks that carry on and do that good work, and we'll hear this later on this evening. So I have no objection as well, besides being not in concert with the charter. It's really not going to harm the Finance Committee's work.
and I'll also mention, if you don't mind, it's a public meeting, anybody's welcome to attend, and in the history I'm aware of, nobody ever did, but anyone can.
Okay, any other comments? Seeing none, those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Withdrawal.
No discussion on the
Motion to withdraw. Okay, I need a vote for the consent items.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
excluding 120.
Right.
I have a motion for the consent items as listed with the absence of 25-120.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda passes as amended. New business. I need a motion to authorize the District Attorney's Office to become a certified law enforcement agency.
So moved.
Second.
And approval of the new investigator position funded by the Sex Assault Kit Initiative.
So moved.
Second.
James.
Thank you. I'm not sure, the district attorney was supposed to be here this evening to present this item. This is something that's being spearheaded from herself. I don't see her here. Not sure what we want to do. I'm not as well versed in what she's looking to do, other than as part of her needing to hire an investigator's position for her office as part of the Saki grant. She needs to apply and become a certified law enforcement agency. It is, I wouldn't say common, but it's not irregular that district attorney's office in Maine becomes a law enforcement agency that others have across the state. And she is looking to bring Cumberland counties into that same category so that she can bring this investigator position on board and to swear the individual in. So the investigator's position would be 100% funded by the Saki grant, but there's a two-step process there needed to get to the point of swearing that individual in.
Commissioner?
Are we open to comments right now? Or
No, well, yeah.
No, we already moved it, I think, right? Yeah.
Comments?
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say, first of all, I want to make sure I'm understanding the position paper. It says that approximately $375 and $242 for salary and benefits for over 3 years with the grant. My question would be, for anyone who might know at this time, after those 3 years are over, would that salary and benefits of approximately $380,000 with some change, after those 3 years, would that then go on the county's budget, or how would that be handled after 3 years from now?
The investigator is solely for investigating the results of the Saki grant. And once the Saki grant has ended, the position would end.
Okay, so it's totally related, nothing extra going on.
Right. It would be a 3-year position.
Okay, so the fiscal note for us is 0, for the county is 0, based on the grant. Okay, just want to make sure I was clear on that. And I believe this is, from what I'm reading, about all of the backlog of rape kits that are sitting in places all over the place, and we're not sure what to do with those rape kits, so this investigator's going to be looking at those rape kits.
The rape kits are currently being categorized and indexed by district attorney staff. Then there'll be a game plan on getting them to the lab. And then once they get through the lab process, then that gets put onto the investigator to take care of from there.
And is there, my last question, thank you. My last question is there any time-sensitive reason that we need to act on this evening, or waiting for the DA? If we have any more further questions around, I mean, these rape kits have been pretty sensitive for a long time. I hate to drag it on any further, but is there anything tonight that's time-sensitive for us?
I think the only time-sensitive item is that the grant started in February or March of this year, so we're 7-8 months into it. And she's gone and explored different options on bringing an investigator on, and this is her kind of the best option she's got. And so she's kind of behind where she wants to be on the investigator, so the delay of hiring this individual by 30 days, 45 days would be the only impact.
Okay, great. Thank you for answering those questions. I know you're not the sole person for it, but thank you.
Jim, I believe with with the grant contract that she can't move forward. It's like a very specific steps, so we can't jump to the next step until
The investigator's on?
the rest. So it's very specific in that grant that we have.
This is a critical first step.
Yes, so the critical first step, I think, is like categorizing it, and then we have to go. So there's very specific, in this grant is very specifically laid out on where we need to be each step. So I think it will hold them up if we don't, because it's the next.
But it won't stop the categorization.
Right, but I think that stops the testing. There is some point that it stops if they don't have the detective, from what I'm been working with Sandy, the compliance manager, on with this grant. I've been in the conferences with Tina and Sandy on that.
We could, the DA may have had something come up on her schedule this evening, but if the commissioners had a desire to approve this evening, that would get the ball rolling for the hiring of the position. The position most likely wouldn't be hired by your next meeting, but it will at least be advertised and out on the street. And the DA could be present at your next meeting, which is December 15th, to kind of give you a better narrative and timeline of her efforts around the Saki grant.
Well, I have concerns that the DA isn't here, and I don't know how usual or unusual it is that if she can't make it, have someone else show up to talk about it. There's a part of me that would like to hold off on this until December. But now that I'm hearing it, that it may mess things up more, but I did want to put out there that I'm not happy that someone from the DA's office isn't here to present, so.
James?
The absence aside, I thought the write-up in our materials was very complete. And what I took away from it was that there was given the existing situation, the hiring process would go through our friend, Officer Pellerin, and his, that would mean he'd have to come out here to talk to the DA, or actually probably go down to Federal Street to talk to the DA to find out what was really needed, and that in fact a common practice in Maine and elsewhere was that in these types of situations, which includes the rape kit grant, but also includes a lot of sensitive sex crime situations that require extensive investigation, that those detectives and investigators are often under the direct supervision of the district attorney's office, and quite often there's a special task force that deals with those directly. So there really would not be anything other than a formal relationship with the sheriff's department, even though they are the law enforcement agency that exists today. So also empowering the DA's office would allow that change to occur. And on top of that, time waits for no man or woman. So I do think that when you have a grant like this that has a time, has an ending, it's already had a beginning, it's probably not very smart to hold off from saying we have a job that we're hoping we can find somebody who can do that job well, and we will hire whoever that person ends up being, and the first step is to authorize the hiring in the first place. So I'm fully in favor of dealing with this tonight.
Any other comments, Tom?
No, I read the whole thing and I echo him. I see no reason why not to move forward.
Well, I guess my position is that I'm really disappointed, and I'm using a kind word here, that the district attorney didn't come. My understanding is she's supposed to. She's part of this forum, and for her not to be here and present something to us, because we don't ask that very often of her, I think is not correct. But I think expediency probably is in the best interest here, so I'll support this. Is there any other comments? Seeing none, those in favor? Motion to remand the 26-27 proposed budget to the Finance Committee for further review and recommendation.
So moved.
Second?
Is there, James?
Thank you. Peter, would you like to beam me up on the TVs here? It's my pleasure to bring forth the 2026-2027 manager's budget for your review, and hopefully remanding it to the Finance Committee this evening. I will just start off and just say that this was no easy budget to put together. We had a lot of stresses on this budget from day one. Rising costs across the board. were really inhibitors on looking at doing new things within this budget and really reduced our capacity within this budget because we had to adjust for those costs that we saw increasing on us. I have about 16 slides here that I'll just quickly go through and then answer any questions at the end. Just to bring you down some high points, we're proposing a non-union COLA of 3%, health insurance 12% up, workers' comp's up 34%. There is a half position, and that half position is in this budget because we have funded it in the current year budget at half year. So in January of 2026, there will be a position in the sheriff's office. It's for a trainer for the significant number of correction officers and patrol deputies that we're bringing on. Last year, we felt as though we needed additional training capacity, and so we split the position over 2 years, and so this is the second half of the full position. Our non-debt capital is at just over $317,000. We are not proposing any type of general obligation bond this year. We have inserted $200,000 out of our tax stabilization reserve. And we're proposing a tax rate impact of 5.37% or 13.77%. The difference comes, and I've doubled up a couple of the slides just showing if there was the federal revenue removed out of the jail budget. What does that look like? And that's an early indication of what that looks like. Significant increases, union wages. As the commissioners are aware, over the last year, we've been working with the 4 unions on negotiations. There's $1.5 million of new money in those 4 unions. And so that's reflected in this budget. We have, again, 12% employee health insurance, workers' comp's up $169,000. A common trend that we're seeing is IT software subscriptions. Everything is based on the computer these days. It's what's running governments and private sector for that matter. We again see upwards of $180,000 in subscription increases to run our software packages. We're seeing $150,000 in food at the jail. Jail medical, our medical contract has a year-over-year contract increase of 3%, so that equates to $134,000. Risk pool, which is our property and casualty insurance, is up 10%. And then we have our jail outside hospital detail by local law enforcement agencies. That is a $200,000 item in the jail budget. And that is when an inmate goes up to Maine Med or to Northern Lights Mercy, there needs to be a commissioned officer that follows that individual for the time being up at the hospital. Many times, because of our staffing at the jail, we do not have enough commissioned officers at the jail, so we have to rely on local law enforcement. And we've been very fortunate that local law enforcement agencies like South Portland, and especially Scarborough have really raised their hand and helped us out on that detail. Again, the half position will backfill the half position in this current year budget. I talked about the salaries going up because of the 4 collective bargaining agreements, benefits going up. We also have the main paid family and medical leave at 0.5%. We also, as part of our negotiations, have TA'd 2/3 retirement with one of our unions. We have the software licenses, and we have fixed costs in maintenance contracts, utilities, and supplies. We do have some adjustments in revenues. Our parking garage monthly and hourly are up $125,000. Our emergency management, the funds that we will receive from FEMA, that will be down $20,000. Federal borders, we're proposing either a $1.2 million increase or it would be a reduction of $2.3 million. Communication contracts are up $48,000, district attorney's fees $45,000. A recent state statute change for the fee schedule for the Registry of Deeds has yielded a increase of $350,000 in the recording and transfer tax lines. However, it weakened the copy revenue, and we were already trending below where we were budgeting on the copy revenue, and so we had to further adjust that, resulting in a reduction of $100,000 in that line. Total expenditures for the county expenses are up 8.4%. Jail expenses at 10.4%, and the cross insurance arena expenses are down just under 14%. For the total expenses being up 8% in totality. Bringing it down through enterprise funds and grants, the total expenditures are at 7.14%. Here's the first slide that I'll have this is with federal revenue. We are looking at total jail revenues would be $7.5 million, an increase of $1.7 million or 23.4%, which is offsetting expenses of $25.4 million, up $2.4 million or 10.4%. Netting out, so a jail needs from taxes is $17,937,000, an increase of $689,901 or 4%, which is right in line with state statute. How this looks without the federal revenue, we have a reduction on the federal border side of $2.29 million. Which results down to jail revenues being at $3.9 million, the dollar change of $1.8 million negative, and the jail's needs for taxes would be $21,475,000, a percent change of 24.51% increase. The cross insurance operational account. Cross insurance is down just under $440,000 or 14%. And that primarily is made up of the renovation bond back in 2012, the bond and interest, prior debt that the arena had of $180,000, and then we have operational costs, which are management contract costs, insurances, things like that. Our outside agency contributions hold pretty solid at $273,000 again this year. Our debt, which is made up of our bonded debt, principal and interest, and our proposed capital reserve, non-debt reserve this year of $317,600. In totality, it is down just over $85,000 or a negative 5.39%. This is total needs from taxes with the federal revenue. So bringing this down through, the total needs from taxes would be just over $2.2 million, or an increase of 5.37%. Without the federal revenue, the total needs for taxes would be $5.8 million. Total percent increase would be 13.77%. Just give you an idea where the county lands annually on our tax increase. We typically are falling in the 4 to 5% range. Last year, we had an abnormal year at 7.7%. This year, we're going to fall somewhere in the 5% or 13.5% area. And then at the beginning, I requested that, if acceptable this evening by the commissioners, that you remand this to the Finance Committee for their review and recommendation. And the Finance Committee has already set their dates: December 9th, January 6th, January 27th, and February 10th are all the dates that we have on the books thus far for their review. We're in hopes of bringing back the budget in late February to the county commissioners. Just want.
Could you flip that back again?
Sure. Just want to take the opportunity to extend a big thank you to Teresa Grover, the finance director, and budget and finance manager Alyssa Johnson, who's hiding over there in the back, and Brianna Gerson, assistant county manager. A lot of hours around the conference table this fall in getting this budget together and packaging it up. And I appreciate their help and their guidance, and really crunching a lot of numbers and trying to figure out what the best angle of presenting this budget to you all are. So thank you very much. And want to extend a big thank you to the department heads also, because they came to the table too. They knew that this budget was in trouble, and every department came to the table and really did not ask for that extra thing this year. We have a budget that's going to keep the lights on, and we'll move forward from there. So I'm available for any questions, and this is ready for public hearing.
Well, I'll just make a comment here. The process is the manager brings a budget to us as a proposed budget, and we pass it on to the Finance Committee, and then they bring it back to us for approval.
I'm trying to remember whether we actually approved the budget on a preliminary basis before it goes to the Finance Committee. I don't remember. I think we do.
Just remand.
Just remand it.
Is that what the charter says?
Public comment first, right?
What's that?
I do have a question now.
Go ahead.
One number that jumped out in the gym was the workers' comp, 34%. Is that because we've had a number of claims, or is?
We had a number of claims, but we also found that we were underfunding where we should be. And so we needed to make that adjustment, that we were not to the level in this current year budget of where we should be, plus what our number was going to be for next year. So it was almost a double whammy there.
Do we have an unusual number of claims, or just a normal average, but with this underfunding?
We do have a higher number of claims, particularly at the jail.
Jim?
Teresa, this is a terribly difficult question, I'm sure, at this particular moment, but is there anything in the current budget that looks like it is going to end up being a surplus item? Is there any way you can tell that at this point?
Not that I'm seeing right now.
I'm surprised. Is there anything that's really on the downside other than workers' comp that we just heard about?
Anything that we're looking that we're going to fall short on? I would say jail salaries we're probably going to be looking short on.
The current budget, either Jim or Teresa, we had 50 unfunded positions or something like that in the jail.
At one time, we had 40 unfunded positions, because if you remember back in 2022, the federal marshals removed their inmates from the jail, and we lost that federal revenue. And because of that, we needed to reduce staffing. And so we unfunded 40 positions.
We were having a hard time at that time hiring people anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have, in this year's budget, brought back 9 of those 40.
So we still have something like 30, 31 unfunded positions.
Correct.
With the expectation we probably wouldn't be able to hire anybody anyway and have them in the saddle, so to speak, by the end of the year, or do you think that's not
We have a funded.
Probably should be asking Brian about that.
We have a funded correction officers at 94. They were at 128.
Is there a reason other than unavailability of recruits that we would not be funding the whole thing?
Not be funding the whole thing in
Or
terms of,
128?
we can't afford it.
We can operate the jail without, by balancing whatever the overtime is with the foregone salary and.
It's our hopes that the number in the pipeline that we have, and I heard that we could have, what, 20, upwards of 26 by the year's end?
Yeah, they're in the process right now. We're at 86 right now in terms of correction officers to the 93 budgeted. So we'll meet that hopefully by the end of the year. With that being said, there are about 45 candidates in process, of which 20 are in the latter stages, and we're waiting for the last two steps of the hiring process.
I'm not following that math very well, but it sounds like within a year, we're gonna be at 128.
No.
Because we have, we're talking about how many we will hire, we're not telling you how many leave.
Right.
As much as, we could hire 10 and we could have 6 leave. So it's one of those things that you gotta hire a number of people to try to preserve 2 or 3 people. It's a revolving door.
So that gets me, I guess the question I should have asked to begin with is the current plan to try to reach 128 at some point?
We don't have the funds to do it.
So our current plan is to reach the funding level for 92?
92, 93, whatever.
Is that what you said?
I think, I've given HR up to 100, knowing that we have a revolving door, that if they can just keep on trying to get up to 100, and it takes a while to get someone through the process, that we will be okay. But we don't have the money available to us to get up to that 128.
Do we, and you don't have to answer this if there's a legal complication here somewhere, but do we have to notify the union of a reduction in force under those circumstances?
That was already they were already notified back in 2022.
Okay, good enough. That's all I have, thanks.
I have a quick question, and I may be way ahead of myself here. I know, remember, I'm coming out of the municipal side, and when we would bring forward, it looks like the budget's gonna have this impact or whatever, we would give a scenario for how that would impact a person's, because it's gonna impact the property taxes for those who own property in Cumberland County. And is there a way, does it make sense to do that with this, that say if it comes in at 7%, this is gonna be the impact on an average house? Because that makes it real for people as to, what the numbers look like. And I know there's a million factors, because it has to do with every town is a different mill rate, blah, 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 blah. So I
And that's the problem that we would have, is that every town has a different mill rate, where the county tax is a different percentage of the town's mill rate, and so could we get there? Yes, maybe.
Just give a couple of examples,
could-
say, well, if you live in, just as an example, if you live in Scarborough, blah, blah, or if you live in Sebago, it's gonna be,
To Jane's point, can Jim, is it possible to give us a window?
Yes, we'll work on something.
Okay, that'd be great.
I have a question for Brian.
Yes, sir.
Is, with what's happening with ICE right now, is there have you got any idea or predictions of whether they're going to increase bringing people, decrease, or you just no way to tell?
Well, I mean, we're certainly operating within the statute of accepting inmates.
The numbers that we've had have held steady. As an organization, we've put a limit on what we can handle, staffing, spacing. The numbers have been consistent. We're averaging low 30s daily numbers for DOJ, U.S. Marshal inmates, usually low to mid 60s for ICE arrests that are brought in. So just under 100 is what it's average. We don't have capacity for any more. There's no more room to put people. We don't have the staff. There's one pod that's still not open. We don't have the staff to staff it, to put people. We're not just out looking to build the revenue with the people. We have what we have. We've held ICE and DOJ arrests for 30 years, and it's been pretty consistent. I know we've looked at numbers in the previous administration. The numbers are pretty consistent on the numbers that we have. Why they're there, that could be different now, but that's what the numbers are. So we're not going any higher with what we have.
Other questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what need public comment at some point, but the one slide that had the food costs at the jail, I can't remember the percentage. It was a higher percentage than the medical cost, which was a big surprise to me because we all talk about how important the medical care is at the jail and what's going on. So kind of surprised by that percentage, but I don't remember what it was.
The medical went up 3%, but that's spelled out by contract.
Right, but the food went up by
150,000.
150. So how do you detail that budget item out in terms of when you come up with that food cost? Is it per person, per day, 3 meals a day? How do you actually budget that?
Ideally, we try to target a per meal cost.
Per meal?
Per meal cost per inmate
person.
at the jail, per person.
So
So
then
3 meals a day.
3 meals.
One of the problems that's most impacted it is we have 75 more inmates on the census this year than last year.
Right.
So the
So-
population's gone up.
Right.
And we are inundated with specialty meals. So dietary, religious, those all fall outside of the normal.
So the more people we get, the probability is we'll have more special diets. So we have a higher cost or higher food.
Well, special diets tend to be a little contagious.
Right.
Some people see someone else getting something else, then,
Oh.
and there's a lot of litigation involved in that
I thought you were talking
too,
about nut allergies, I'm sorry. That's what I'm used to, okay.
Kind of,
So, but I guess that's my point, so we see the food prices coming up, yet we have X amount of people that we're putting into the jail, so this is not a surprise.
And just the increase in food costs, I mean, everything.
Right, but if we had less people, we'd feed less people than feed more people, no? Yes.
Well, we would, if we had less, how do I say this? I guess if we had 100 in the census as opposed to 425, it
Yeah.
would be a price difference.
Right, yeah, that's what, yeah, and I just wanted to know how it was, the detail of it, when you're budgeting, you put in proposed numbers about, we're having these many people, we're feeding them 3 times a day, each meal costs this. I was just curious how the detail of that worked.
It is usually calculated on a per meal, per
Per
person
meal.
type thing, and that's a target. But again, once we end up with, we have several individuals that are there and it's.
I'm just trying to do the math, well, like, let's say the rate is, I don't know, $40 a day for the average inmate for those 3 meals, and then there's the specialty people, I don't know, what is it, that's what I'm asking.
It works out to be $2.27 a meal.
Okay.
It's very low,
Yeah, so $2, okay, so
just a lot of meals.
say $2, okay. I can go home and do the math, that's fine, so about $2, okay. And some specialties. Specialties maybe $4,
Yeah.
right, or something like that? Okay. Just curious, I mean, I'm just amazed that, I know food costs are going up, we all know food costs are going up, but in terms of just figuring out, understanding how the budget goes with how many people, how much they're eating, and then just surprised medical. I mean, I know it's tracked in because of the contract, but.
We will be going out to bid this year for medical. That's not to say that we're going to see a reduction in price.
Right.
But we are bidding that service out.
And do we see any kind of reduction from the medical wing, all the money that we invested for the medical wing on site, so we can kind of help people on site in the jail? Is there any kind of cost savings there from?
I think there potentially could be,
Yeah.
but again, that turns into a staffing issue and having the staffing. And a lot of times, when someone's sent to a hospital, we classify it 2 ways. A hospital trip,
Yeah.
where medical requires them to go to be checked out by a specialist and the folks that have the expertise. And then it turns into a hospital detail where the person is admitted, and then that requires the 24/7, security that goes with that. So ideally, I think it potentially will and can. They're still in the process of transitioning. I know some of the beds just came in and things like that. I think in pie in the sky, that's our hope. But once someone
There's a
gets
big difference
admitted,
between a hospital and a medical wing.
Well,
I understand that too, yeah.
it's the capability of the staff that works for the medical company that.
They can only do so much.
Right, and their staffing issues too. You're constantly
Yeah.
short-staffed and having coverage and things like that, so.
Great, thank you.
So we next see this in February? March?
Unless you attend one of the 4 finance committee meetings.
As you know, I never miss one, right?
Yes, February it will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other comments on this issue?
We have
Public hearing.
public
Public
comment?
comments.
Public comments on it. We haven't
That's right, that's right. Right. Public comments on the budget?
Hi there, Commissioners. My name is Al Cleveland. I live in the Riverton neighborhood in Portland. I'm here to echo something that Allison Smith named earlier. Our budgets are our moral documents. They're the ways that we show as a county, as taxpayers, voters.
You gotta be on topic.
I'm talking about the budget. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I have a lot of thoughts about the budget. I've reviewed all the documents in detail. They're moral documents. They talk about what we care about, who we support, who we're aligned with. And I'm really concerned about the increased cost to the Cumberland County Jail. We're continuing to increase incarceration in CCJ over the last few years, while thousands in our county are lacking housing and food. I'm concerned about the $2.3 million increase that is going to the county jail. I can't imagine the cost and the labor that staff members in CCJ are playing and having to hire and retrain correctional officers. I just heard the discussion about the revolving door. Why can't we keep correctional officers? People don't want to work in the jail. It's inhumane for both people incarcerated in the facility and for the workers. We just heard that there's an increase in workers' comp claims. Why are people getting hurt? I'm continuing to be concerned that our county funds are going to fund an institution, a place that is causing harm to both people incarcerated and people working in this facility. I'm also really concerned about the county manager's description in the budget around that there's special interest groups that are lobbying this commission. I was just present for this meeting and for many, and what I'm hearing is not special interest groups asking this county to make decision, but faith leaders, Portland school teachers, nurses, community members, people like me who are worried about my county. And I don't feel good about being represented as a special interest group for having demands about how this county is spending money that comes from my taxes. I'm also concerned about the false choice that was presented in the county document, the budget documents around if we have funding from the Department of Justice, if we have the federal funding, or if we don't. I feel like when I read through the county manager's description of how that lack of funding from the feds with ICE detention was described, seemed to me based on false logic. I read in the document, quote, "The assumption was based off of a recent phone conversation jail employees had with the Marshal Services, that if the contract is proposed for amendment, the entire contract will be canceled." I don't think we can be making budget calculations based off of one unnamed employee talking to one named representative of the U.S. Marshal Services. I would think it would be important for this commission to understand the difference in cost between the Marshal Services, folks that are being held, and ICE, to understand truly what would we be losing if this commission stopped taking ICE detainees. That budget breakdown really is not making sense to me. I also understand that if we are decreasing incarceration, if we are investing in services and community support that we know keep people out of jail, then our food cost is going down, our medical is going down, our staffing is going down. And so I think it would be wise and financially prudent for this commission to be thinking and being curious and getting input from community partners about what those investments in community services could look like. I also think that this budget and the current ICE contract is continuing to put the county in a position to get sued with financial liability. Just last week, a county in New York was found that financially responsible for awarding $112 million from a federal judge who ruled that they were unlawfully detaining over 600 immigrants. ICE was the problem. But the county and the county sheriff's office was financially responsible for $112 million. I'm worried about the liability that you all have with your ICE contract and what this is doing for the budget. I also see that the risk pool insurance is going up 10%. Is this because of the jail conditions? That to me is really concerning. I'm also continuing to be concerned that this year, the county decided to buy Draft One, which is a software that pledges time saving by using artificial intelligence to automatically write police reports. So now the county is spending $500,000 a year on public safety software packages, email and data sharing. As we heard, this technology subscription, excuse me, please don't make faces when I'm sharing my concerns as the public. What I'm concerned about, though, is that there's recent evidence and data that shows that these time-saving AI softwares aren't actually saving a lot of time. A new study from the Electronic Freedom Foundation found that, contrary to Axon's claims, Draft One doesn't save time. So before we look at...
The clock didn't go down, but 3 minutes is up.
So before we look at increasing costs to the jail and concern about the federal contract, I think we need to be looking at how we're spending money right now and ways that we can be saving money to invest in community alternatives to incarceration. I thank you all so much for your time and for your service to the county and look forward to continue to be in communication with you about this matter.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Do we have?
Yeah. I wish I knew enough to be specific, but a couple items that I wanted to flag. I'm curious, do you have to pay the salary of the CCJ employee who is currently being detained in an ICE facility in New Hampshire? Is that one of the workers' comp numbers? Why do we have $20,000 less of FEMA? I'm curious, I don't know the answer. And I know that when families send money to the commissaries, it stays with the jail. So there's all kinds of numbers that are complicated. I personally think this is really tough on correction officers and law enforcement, and I think that point about why is the door revolving so fast? Why are workman's comp claims going up? I don't know how you guys can quantify it and use it in decision making, but I'll just say, at least for me, listening to that was something I hope that you will consider, because I thought that was a great point.
Seeing no other comments, I'll close the comment period.
We already have a motion.
Yeah, we already have a motion. Any other comments from the? Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes. To the Finance Committee.
We have some.
This 25.
Need a motion, I need a motion to,
Okay, I'm sorry, point of, I didn't get a motion or a second.
yeah, the motion was to remand.
Oh, a first and a second.
He was the first, I was the second.
Okay, all right.
Close enough.
Something like that.
Then I need a motion to transfer $1,260,889 from the undesignated fund balance to the strategic planning reserve.
So moved.
Second.
Is there public comment? Seeing none, I'll close that. And any comments or discussion from the commissioners?
Is there just a reason? We just need to transfer this?
Or just a transfer?
Okay, just
This item is being brought forward as the commissioners have recently updated the fund balance policy. And at the same time, we also received word from our auditors from the audit that was done back in September. We have found that we have exceeded the fund balance policy. And when we do that, the policy requires us to take that overage and apply it to capital projects. And so what we're bringing forward to you this evening is the overage and the capital projects to spend that on. And that ranges from anywhere from things at the courthouse to the jail to the communication center, probate office. Runs the gamut, but these are all important because they were either projects that were removed out of this year's budget because we couldn't afford them, or there were projects that were in next year's budget that we removed out because we couldn't afford them.
And that's because we're above the 20%.
Correct.
Thank you. Explanation.
Any other?
Move passage.
Move passage. Those in favor?
Aye.
Pass second.
We already had it.
Sorry.
We're getting all confused.
Yeah. Unfinished business. Apparently, at the last meeting, we voted on a, is this the right one?
It is.
We voted on a motion that wasn't made. So what we need to do is, and there's some legal ramifications because there's some federal dollars in this. So we need to just to correct that and indicate that we accept the motion. With your permission, as chair, I will declare that we made the motion and.
We actually have to make the motion. Someone has to make the motion, someone has to second it, for the record.
I'll make the motion, item number 25-094 for the approval of the home ARP funding recommendations. This is the first public hearing, was on September 15th. Final hearing is on October 20th, which is actually now, which is what today's date.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
So,
I have no questions.
yeah.
Is there any public comment?
We already did public comment.
This is just a correction.
Just a correction. Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
And then I guess this is the last, is 25-113. Final reading of proposed amendments to the Cumberland County government bylaws which establish an alternative disbursement warrant authority and incorporate the board's previously approved public participation policy into the bylaws.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll close that. Those in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
I'd like to take a motion to take item 25-112 from October 20th, remove it from the table for reconsideration.
I'll second that.
You have a motion and a second?
Thank you. Thank you for the second. Bringing this up this evening just because I feel that's important when someone does ask for reconsideration, that we take that to heart. And if someone does need time to figure something out or wants to reflect, I think that's important because I think all decisions should be made with thoughtful reflection. So whether people have changed their mind or not, that's neither here nor there. But I think, at least for the public, in terms of transparency, not every public citizen is familiar with the Robert's Rules of Order, which is how we govern in our policies and what we do when we're here. So I think having something outstanding probably isn't in our best interest to be just hanging out in the wind. And again, I don't expect everyone to have a copy of Robert's Rules on them to know what does this really mean and what is happening. So in terms of public transparency and just being forthright and honest, I wanted to bring this back up for reconsideration and to at least create clarity around this matter. And that's my reasoning for asking for the motion this evening. Thank you.
So the motion is to bring the motion for
Off the table.
Take it off the table.
Take it off the table. Right. Those in favor?
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion to reconsider.
Thank you.
You're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna move to table that again. Originally, I had moved to table it in general, leave it on the table, and I will say, it's no secret that two members of the commission voted one way, two members of the commission voted another way.
I mean, three.
Well, I kind of did both, I suppose.
No.
But anyway, I'm still not, I think that there are more productive ways to approach this than to simply cancel the contract. I've been working on those with some very helpful members of the community. And so I would move I recognize that there's one more month left of our 2025 season. After that, we have a new season, and any of this parliamentary gyrations would be probably a thing of the past. And so I would, I have communicated to other members of the public that I would not be supporting
No one seconded it yet.
reconsideration of this at this point, but that's what I have to say. And so if reconsideration is on the table, then I now move to table that for 1 month, for 2 months.
And Mr. Chair, is it correct that there's no discussion of tabling?
Correct. That is correct. Do I have a second for this table? Seeing none, it fails, lack of
I have a
second.
question, Mr. Chairman. You said there's no discussion on tabling?
That's correct.
Well, the motion of reconsidering was on was being discussed.
Yeah, that's already been, the
And
motion,
then
I
he
think the
made a
pending
motion
motion
to-
is the motion you have on the table now, you have the reconsideration motion, and I have now moved to table it for 2 months.
I would second the motion, and if I can't discuss it, but I'll second the motion because I have my reasons.
And I don't think tabling's a debatable question either, is it?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
just take a vote.
those in favor? Those opposed? Table fails. So there's now a motion to reconsider.
Thank you. I guess I'll start with a comment then. And it goes back to, we may be here to vote the same way we voted in the past, but I feel like it's important for community members to understand where we stand today, where we stand tomorrow. Who knows what the next year will bring, but the ambiguity of when it will come up or if it's tabled, I just think creates a lot of extra chaos. And we already have a lot of chaos in our lives right now, a lot of unknowns. So I'm all about, voting again if that's what it takes, and that's fine. If people have reflected on things, great. If they haven't, that's fine too. But I just prefer to have it clear and, the future is gonna be what the future is. But I think it's important. I mean, it's very difficult to not at least attempt to hear and address people's concerns without doing nothing. So reconsidering is a way to do something. And the last thing I'll say is, what if we didn't get any money at all for what we're doing at the jail? If money wasn't part of any of it, if it was a $0 attached to this situation of social justice, it had $0 attached, would it be easier to decide what to do? I have no idea, but when I think about that, I think, wow, what an interesting way to look at it. No money, just what's in your heart and what's important to do. So those are my final comments. I've already said enough from my last meeting. Those comments stand. Thank you for the time this evening.
For the audience, could we explain what a yes vote or a no vote is on the reconsideration?
Well, reconsideration, if you vote yes, then the original motion comes to the table. So, James.
I have to admit,
Wait a minute, let me ask. Is there discussion on a reconsideration reconsideration?
Yes,
Yes.
according to Robert's
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah, there's discussion reconsideration.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
I would have
either.
thought not, but it's all right. The majority can
So-
interpret Robert's rules however they wish. I mean, it's always
Well, let me-
subject to that.
Let me ask the question then. Why have discussion if you're going to bring the motion up to discuss?
So, I think we're in the middle of a discussion already, so I don't care how you rule. You should just go ahead and tell us what you think.
All right,
I would prefer to speak on this motion because it,
no, those in favor of reconsideration?
What, we're voting?
Yeah.
Oh, we are? Yeah. Oh, like what?
Voting to reconsider and go back to the original motion?
Yeah.
We have no discussion here, then I'll vote to reconsider because I got some comments.
Those opposed? So, what's on the table now is the original motion.
Which is?
That's a good question.
cancel the contract.
I haven't got a contract for that. Just to revoke the contract.
Yeah, you
Right.
just want to remind the public
Yeah.
with it.
Mr. Chairman, I will be right up front and say I'm going to vote the same way I voted in the past. I commend the people who've come in here and talked on multiple occasions since sometime last summer. However, the TV reporting, the reporting in the newspaper, I'm only talking about my district, District 2, has awakened a lot of people. And over the course of since the last meeting's vote, I have received numerous phone calls, on all of which I've heard available, I have answered, and I've received numerous emails. The overriding majority in my district, once you get beyond this local area, has been supportive of me and the way I voted before. And based on the constituency that I represent, I will vote the same.
Any other comment, James?
I just want to indicate that it's my belief that this contract will not survive the next few months of what I think is an important process. It does disturb me a bit, not just a bit, that so many people have come out. They're very forceful. They're right about the moral questions. The ministers of faith track the sentence I served at a Catholic school for 8 years, and then a Jesuit school after that. There's no question that and then my legal career tells me that we are faced with a horrible situation in the United States today, and some of it is bleeding over into Cumberland County. My research on this issue so far tells me that the federal pod, which exists at the jail, accommodates something like slightly less than 100 inmates. And it appears that it's being used, at least in part, by ICE as a higher than normal security, flight risk incarceration facility. And that a lot of Maine people are being transshipped to less secure places in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, other places, where they are in much less secure facilities because they're not considered a flight risk, probably, among other things. I find it almost impossible to believe that we have an incarceration system in the United States which legally allows people to be incarcerated without a hearing, without an opportunity for hearing, without any kind of consideration of what every accused criminal gets, which is an opportunity to be put on bail, go back to their family, try to rebuild their situation. It's really un-American. And it traces its roots to racial policies, and I hate to say it, but if you go to the ICE pod in Portland, you will see the impact on race that we would all be ashamed of in that pod. I'll leave it at that. So I believe that the best way to deal with this is to attempt to change the main law if we can, and there's a bill now wandering its way through the legislative process, which has only just begun. It's not going to happen very fast, but it'll happen sometime in the early part of 2026 that will relieve us of our legal obligation, which we have discussed many times already, that regardless of what we do about this contract, we will be required by Maine law to accept and deal with immigration and customs prisoners. The other thing that bothers me a lot, and I don't, this is not anything that is unusual. It happens a lot when emotional issues arise, and this is, for me and for many other people, an emotional issue. The idea that we would cancel the contract and there would be a beneficial result from that is almost nil, in my judgment. There is a possibility that there are federal regulations that apply to ICE which are simply being ignored that would bring a much better situation, because frankly, the ICE regulations were written before this current administration took office, and they are not decidedly stupid, and they're not decidedly lacking in elements of justice. So I believe that the county, because we have been involved in this, as have all other facilities that incarcerate individuals, frankly, in the United States, because we are involved on some level under any circumstances, I believe if we want to make a statement about how this must be and how it should be, then it's our responsibility to make the point. And that point may involve litigation against it may involve litigation against ICE. It may involve trying to get the state law changed. It may involve trying to enforce some of the regulations that they have. And it may also not work at all. There's no question that there is a national government that intends to use this as a political point, just as they always have in the last 4 or 5 years. So my intention is not to vote to terminate this contract tonight, but like I have said, and I've expressed this to the management, and I've expressed this to the people at the jail, I see no possibility that this will be under discussion next year. Certainly by the end of next year, by late next year, and probably not very much after early next year. So, but in the meantime, I believe that when you see something that's wrong, you don't just walk away from it, you try to do something about it. And that's what we're gonna do. That's what I would hope that the members of this commission would support, and that's a solution that I think belies the impression that I fear that many people have, that if we end the contract, that we end ICE in Maine. Nothing could be further from the truth. That's all I have to say.
May I make one other comment? Sure. Yeah, and first to Commissioner Smith's comment earlier, for me, this is not about the money. It has nothing to do with the money. If we lose it, we lose it, we figure it out. Yeah, so I don't want the public to think that I'm sitting and saying, I gotta have the money. It's not that at all. For me, it is, I'm waiting for a path through state government, and I truly think that's the way to go. Being a former legislator, that's the path that has to be taken to take what we need to do away from and give us a chance to say no and still not have to contend with it. I just would like, but I am very concerned that, and I don't know this because we don't get the details of what ICE puts out, why they're arresting, but if they're here illegally, you know, in this country, there's got to be a path to either send them and go back to a method they can come here and be, you know, I've, as I said in the past, I've been to many naturalization ceremonies, and it's not a prouder day for me to walk, you know, either as a political representative or just go on my own to shake hands and say, welcome to America. I love doing that. But there's got to be a path that's correct and legal. And one of the girls mentioned earlier, it's a civil crime. It is not. It's the minimum is a federal misdemeanor. So they are breaking the law. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I do have one other comment, and it's about the money. We have done without their revenue before, and even recently. You know, we don't, it's got nothing to do with money as far as I'm concerned. I would have to, and anybody would see, it's not gonna be the most pleasant day down in the finance office if that revenue gets knocked out. But we've gone through it before, and I will say that as the regional government for Cumberland County and good part of southern Maine, a 10 or 15% tax increase, that's no picnic for anybody, but frankly, the proportion of county taxation for total taxation is very low, and really, the only people I've ever heard talk about county taxation are people on the finance committee of cities and towns. Everybody else understands that it really doesn't amount to very much.
Yeah, I figure I might as well say something since everyone else is. I will vote to cancel the contract. I've had a number of constituents from my district support doing that for humanitarian reasons, as well as I said in my comments at our last meeting, if ICE were acting like a legitimate law enforcement agency, I may feel a little differently, but they're not. So therefore, I'm willing to take the stand that, yeah, we'll cancel the darn contract. And I just put it very concisely, if not now, when? If not now, when? I will add that I want people to understand that we definitely need all of you who come here and talk to us to get out there and talk to the state legislators, as I've said before, about, and I hate to bring up money, but as you see, it comes down to money sometimes, is we do need more state support for the county jails as far as money is concerned. And also to be looking at what is our relationship with the feds at this point? And that needs to come from the state also. The county's kind of out here all by ourselves as an outlier in this, so I want to see the state more involved. And I will tell you, I had a great jail visit. I went to jail. I went to jail on Saturday, and I spent an hour and a half there with Senator Rachel Talbot Ross and Representative Dylan Pugh, I think is how he pronounces it, and I apologize if I mispronounce his name, but I wanted to make sure that they saw what we were dealing with. I went into the federal pod, I guess is what they call it, and it was very interesting how the federal pod was so clearly not white. That's how I'm gonna put it. And that was a little jarring to me, just from a personal point of view. It was like, wow, okay. It was a wonderful, well, as much as a jail tour is wonderful, but it was a very eye-opening experience. It's not the first jail tour I've done, because I feel as a county commissioner, I need to be in there when I can. But it was good to get some updated information and just see what's going on there. This is not an easy issue. It's not, I wish it were black and white. It's not, but for me, and for the way I think and the way I operate, it has become a moral issue. So, you know, I will be voting to cancel the contract.
I thank you for letting me speak earlier. I'll just say one brief thing, is that just want to acknowledge all the people that have reached out to me around my current stance on the contract, but also to recognize and acknowledge. I also received emails from folks who said, you know, please take back your vote. We want you to keep the contract. You know, money is really important. And so I got maybe of at least over 100 emails, maybe 10, that said, you know, please keep the contract because, you know, the money's so important and we need that to run the county and we don't want it on our tax base. So just want to go on the record that I get those kind of emails too, and I get citizens. I thanked all of them for their rationale and their reasoning. And so I know it's always a balance. Everyone has their district to represent, but we also, as a total board, we represent the county. We are the county. And we may have districts, we may have towns that we represent and where we live, but we need to think of the totality of what we're doing. And the totality of what's happening to me in my mind is just, I think it's irresponsible for us to be involved with the federal government the way it is currently being run. It does not seem like the Constitution is being upheld and that people's rights potentially are being violated. And I just have a hard time living with that, knowing that we're part of that. So that's my moral comment for this evening, and I just hope that in the future we can find creative ways to make a situation that is pretty darn horrible a lot better, because I think some people's lives are really being ruined for not much of a reason. So thank you for listening, and thank you for the time.
Well, I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but I see this as two parts of a question. And the first is the contract. The contract is to revoke the federal contract which reimburses us for prisoners. And that means that if we get a prisoner and that comes in from some other source, the county has to be responsible for paying for them. If ICE brings in a prisoner, it's a federal prisoner, then we get refurbished or we get paid for that prisoner. Hold that thought. There is the requirement for the sheriff and the jail that through the state mandate, which is backed up by federal law and state law, of P42, which requires that the jail, let me see if I can get my words right.
Shall.
No. That the jail is prohibited from not receiving prisoners. They have no choice. Prisoners brought to them, they have to hold them, they have to detain them. To some other comments that have been made here, I agree. I mean, I'm not agreeing with what we have to do because of the law. But one of the things that I know that the sheriff worked with for a while was probable cause. And we now have a Supreme Court that's defined probable cause as suspicious recognition or
Totality of the circumstances.
and so anybody can take anything that looks to them like it might be probable, and they can arrest the individual. There is also the bringing in for the warrant. And the warrant is now, is my understanding, and as I've been told, can be an administrative warrant that is written by ICE. So as far as I can see, our law enforcement side's hands are tied. No matter who it is, as long as it's a legitimate law enforcement agency and they bring an arrestee to the jail, they have to receive them and retain them. So no matter what we do here, we can't affect that. County has no authority to do that. The other is this if we revoke the contract, then we don't get compensated for those prisoners that are brought to us by ICE, which means that the cost of those prisoners are transferred from the federal government and ICE to the county and the property taxpayer. So not only are we not getting compensated, who is harmed? Who's harmed are the low-income property owners. The guy that's trying to put, or the woman that's trying to put food on the table or pay for prescriptive drugs, and they don't know even how to turn on the lights. That, to me, is wrong. So I guess I'm at this point. We've got two issues here. They're mutually exclusive discussions. They can't cross. One doesn't affect the other as far as ICE is concerned.
Excuse me.
So who do you want harmed? We revoke the contract and we take it out on the low-income property owner. ICE doesn't care. In fact, we're becoming complicit with ICE because we've taken those costs away from them and they have more money to do with what they want. So I'm going to be voting against it.
Can I just suggest one other thing? I've had some very interesting discussions, I don't know if they'll lead anywhere, but we have all focused correctly, I think, on the state law requirement. State law requirement is pretty clear. Cancel it or not, the state law would say that they're incarcerated where they're presented by any law enforcement agency. That would include ICE. There may, however, be federal regulations which would prevent ICE from doing that if they don't have an agreement with us because of federal standards which are being circumvented, ignored, or otherwise trashed without legal authority. And that may be something that comes to nothing, or it may be something that we as a county would justifiably be involved in attempting to enforce against ICE using federal law. We always have the chance, of course, that the law that so far we have believed not just believed, which clearly requires that we accept prisoners, that may be changed in some way. Senator Ross has a bill that actually, and this is a little bit surprising, got past the Legislative Council. This is a second session, which means that you can't introduce new stuff unless you get permission, and she, surprisingly to me, was able to get permission. I think she was a little surprised too. So.
To do what?
To change the requirement into a discretionary issue.
By whom?
Well, right now it looks like the sheriff, but my suggestion is that we ought to do better than that. But that will be something for the legislature to work out, I assume. So, but I just wanted to offer that clarification that it's not hopeless if we do something. In my judgment, it might be hopeless anyway.
So that's the end, I guess there's no further comment. So the motion is to revoke the contract. So those in favor of revoking the contract? Those opposed to revoking the contract?
Shame.
Opposes. Okay. So comments from the executive staff. Start around, Amy?
I have no comments. I have nothing to share.
Brian?
I have nothing, thank you, Commissioner.
Lisa?
I just received a draft of the audit stating that would get an unmodified review. It's in a form. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet, and we are waiting on some additional information, but it looks like all is going well there. And we'll be finishing up the CFA, which is the federal audit as well.
How about the jail audit?
I was gonna speak with you about that, so I haven't heard any update from the auditor, so I will be talking to Ron about that, so.
That's it?
That's the
Good.
biggest news, yes.
James?
I got a couple items this evening. First, I just want to recognize Angela Giordano, the Substance Use Prevention Team Lead in the Public Health Office. She was just recently awarded the Ripple Effect Award by the Maine CDC at their annual Maine Prevention Network Conference. The award goes to a prevention professional who is doing outstanding work in each discipline in substance use prevention, tobacco prevention, and healthy eating and active living. And so this is a great honor for Angela, and we congratulate her for receiving this.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
We also received a nice thank you from Somerset County. Our Cumberland County EMA team acted on behalf of Somerset County. I guess they had a drinking water problem up there. And they leaned on us for some help, and our EMA team was able to quickly respond and get a whole boatload of drinking water shipped up to Somerset County to meet their needs. And so they just wanted to extend a thank you for the quick action and the professionalism of the Cumberland County EMA department. And then this is somewhat hot off the press, but still in draft form. You may remember Jessica Spalding, the Register of Deeds, was here last month talking about fraud. And she has provided me a pamphlet that will be circulated and probably on our website that people can download or print off or pick up here at this building or other county buildings, notifying what they can do on deed fraud. And so we're still, with this document's about 95% there, but probably within the next week it will be 100% there and available to the general public. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that. And that concludes my communications this evening. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you on that information, because I've already started telling clients and others about going online and registering again, you know, for that fraud alert and whatever, so thank you.
Yeah, it's really simple. Commissioners? James?
Oh, no, I've had enough to say already tonight.
I'm good.
I just have, very quickly, I did go to the Cumberland County Animal Rescue Team meeting that they do with EMA, I guess. Anyway, it was interesting. A friend of mine actually is the chair. And I know that people have a lot of questions about it, but basically what they do, they were set up by federal law, which I didn't know, which says that, you know, if you're gonna have shelters and whatever for people, you really should have shelters for animals also, because they found in New Orleans during, what was it, Katrina, that a lot of people drowned or died because they didn't want to leave their animals behind. So it was interesting to see what they do, and they're doing some sort of a mock something or other, in Wyndham. I think it's this Saturday, where they were asking me to bring my bird in, and I said, no, I don't think so. I have to work anyway, but anyway, there you go. So that was interesting, just to let you guys know. That, and I mentioned that my jail tour this weekend, and then Jim and I did have a meeting with Senator Ross about what she's thinking about with different things too, last week. That's it.
Just it's a related acknowledgement, but our county manager sent out a nice email on Veterans Day, just remembering veterans and the sacrifices they gave for our country. So I also want to mention their families, because it's a big part of the equation. So I want to thank you. Thanks to all the vets.
Well, I'd like to thank the people that have participated in this process. The emotional outlet and the issues that they brought forth are very pertinent to our society. It's heartbreaking to see what they indicate. The concern that I have is we're a county government, and we don't have any authority on the issues that they wanted to have changed. And I felt badly about that. I know that at least I thought I was putting forth what we could and couldn't do. And I was not hearing any feedback from at least the people that were here. As Commissioner Smith spoke about, I too have answered a lot of emails online. And about a third of them, and I was up in the 150s, about a third of them was saying, yes, we want you to keep the contract. Now, some of them, granted, it was just for money. Others understood the issue and said, no, we don't want to help ICE by not charging them. And as a result, that's kind of where I was anyway, because, as I say, those two issues are mutually exclusive. And by trying to put them together, it doesn't work. I could not justify, again, as I stated, I cannot justify hurting another group when it doesn't cause any effect on the one, when the change would not cause any effect on the group that you wished that they would change. Well, for that, I'm sorry. And unless there's anything else, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.